We're almost at our 1 year mark, and we'd like to welcome everybody watching us tonight. I see a whole line of people standing there in the wings of the comments, getting ready to say hello to us. We will try to get to as many comments and hellos as possible. But first, how do you find us? Quartermaster. Nope, I'm sorry. Quartermaster's out taking care of the treasure. Navigator. Navigator Longwood. Put up that link there so they can find out how to get to us on that YouTube thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel and join up and get the link and get reminders every week about our next up and coming episodes. Tonight's a very special one. I have a very good friend on with me tonight. I haven't forgotten. It's time for a cheer and a toast. Aye. Cheers and bottoms up. Huzzah! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Kraken rum, the 94 proof. Now you know why all the rum is gone. Oh, thank you very much there, Davey. Very good, cute. That's why all the rum's gone, because Captain Mayhem gets a hold of it. So when you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe and like. The more subscribers we get, the better off everybody likes us. And hey, one of these days, maybe it'll pan out to some booty for us to keep this show going. We want to stay afloat as long as we can. Everybody say hello to Gunner Hellfire. There he is in the bottom corner down there. And in just a few minutes, we'll be bringing our special guest on. But let's take care of those things we normally do at the beginning of every show. Let's start off with some intellectuality. I think I might have made that word up. But we'll go with the quote of the week. And that one says, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Albert Einstein. Good quote, Mr. Longwood. Very good quote. I like that. We might have to do a Captain's Quarters quote book and put it out on the market for everybody. And of course, right after the quote, we always do the question of the week. Can you name 3 famous magicians? So I just want to see who pops up there and says the 3 famous magicians. I have the wrong... I'm not even going to worry about it. I have the wrong script on my screen, and I'm not even sure why it's there. How did that happen? Oh, I know why. No worries, no worries. I can still do what we want to do. So let's go with Crew Adventures next there, Mr. Longwood. Show us our new poster of Crew Adventures, because no, that's not it.
That's the only one I have, sir.
Really? Now, how did that happen? I sent the wrong ones out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, take that one off. I'll just tell everybody what we got coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ancient City Con coming up, September 17th, 18th. We have Pirates of the High Seas in October, 7, 8, and 9. That's over in Panama City Beach, Florida, with my brother, Ransom Mayhem, and the Pirates of the White Sands. And then in November, we have Pirates on the Edge in Edgewater, Florida. That'd be November 12th. Be watching for all the details that we start passing out for that. All 3 of those are fine events, and we'll be talking more about them as we go along. And of course, you can get the Ancient City Con on their ancientcitycon.com and find out more about it and the guests they have there. I am quite sure that they will be putting on some extra tributes this season for Star Trek, because the great Michelle Nichols has passed away as of yesterday. Lieutenant Uhura. That was an icon of sci-fi television. So we'll be talking about that too, I'm sure. Also, an after event. Ladies and gentlemen, we went, myself and Lady Cece, we went to Murder Among the Mateys. It was a dinner theater, a pirate dinner theater, and the dinner was wonderful. And they had a sellout crowd. The reason they ended up doing the second one is because the first one they did in May was a sellout, and they had so many people asking for tickets, they decided to do it one more time. All the money from the one in May and the one this past Sunday night, they have pooled all the money together, all the profit, and they will be providing a party for free for all the foster children in Flagler County. Not just the children, but their families as well. Captain Mayhem will be down there doing a magic show. Gina Marie and her girls will be down there to do a little bit of dancing, and I understand there may be some mermaids down there also, and just whatever else they have planned. the Sea Wolves Privateers of Flagler County and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers working together to improve our community. And that party they're doing, which is closed, it's not an open to the public party. It is on August 27th, and we'll be talking more about that in case anybody wants to help support it in the long run. So that one's a good one also. So you can see we stay quite busy as pirates here. Take what we can, share it with all you can. That is what we're doing. It was a great murder mystery. It was a lot of fun. The pirates and the crew did the acting, and they did quite well. And it was well worth the attendance for that night. I know that Gina Marie and her man were there. Let's see, Miss Melinda was there and her man Mark. The Rochers were there. The Collins were there. All of these people out of our own crew, and a few other pirates that are looking to join our crew. So it was a good event, and we'll be working with them in August, and they're planning a big pirate monopoly party, I believe, in October. We'll let you know more about that also. But ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the Sea Wolf Privateers of Flagler County. Job well done. Huzzah! All right, you can remove that, Mr. Longwood. That's good, because I think we are done with everything that we need to do to start this show, to kick it off. We're quite well into the show, and I have told our guest he would have 12 minutes to rest. Well, I'm stealing 4 minutes of it back. So we're going to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very good friend of mine in the magic community. We've been friends for at least 30 years, maybe a few years longer. And he's in Tampa, Florida, or South St. Petersburg area. He'll correct me on that when we bring him up. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you. David, do you have Mr. Knapp? And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the great Geoff Williams. Hey.
I'm sorry. Oh, hi.
Hi.
I wasn't expecting you all so soon. I was just looking at some of my many trophies that I've won.
Yeah, just dusting them off, so to speak, right?
Hey, wow.
And
several thousand by last count.
And many an awards you have won over the last, 25, 30 years now?
Right, either won or purchased. Yeah.
Well, purchasing is easier because you can have the name spelled proper on it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I've got one from Italy, and it's one of my all-time favorite ones, and they just gave me one F on GEOFF. So it's GEOF. And it's like, that's going to be always special because I love those guys over there.
Well, it's the special ones that make it so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
There it is right there. I am playing with my computer again so I can pay attention to what I'm doing and make sure I don't make any mistakes. And there it is right there. Okay. There. All right. So, Mr. Geoff, we became friends in Tucson, Arizona.
That is correct.
And then you left Tucson and went, if I remember right, didn't you go up to Minneapolis?
I did. I was in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area for about 15 years.
And I went away and did other things towards Las Vegas. And I've kept my roots in magic, but not as much as you. You are, as I tell many of my friends, you're in a very select group of magicians that there are only, 203?
Well, it might
Might be
be.
more now with some new awards, right?
Yeah, it might be like 220.
220.
But yeah, the 4F.
Yeah, which is that's FISM, right?
No, the 4F is a by invitation only group of sleight of hand technicians from representing 20 different countries. So
And you're part of that.
I'm lucky enough to be one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your abilities, not just with sleight of hand, but your mental quickness when it comes to comedy is really wonderful.
Oh,
So we've had some good times together. We did a couple of shows together at Laughs Comedy Club in Tucson, Arizona.
that's correct.
We
Yeah.
shared the stage there, and then I was just asking while you were in the green room there. There was the Society of American Magicians chapter 136, if I remember right.
That is correct.
What was it? Who was it named after? I don't remember the namesake. Do you?
That would probably be the John Alexander.
That's it, John Alexander.
Yep.
And they every year in the end of the summertime they do. It's not the end of the summer. They do it in September or October now, I think.
Yeah, it was always late September or went into October.
And they do what's called a Stars of Magic, and they've done it since 1988 or 89, I believe. And the one of the greater magicians of that crew, that group out there, was the great Alan Rasco.
Yes. Oh,
And
listen.
I just noticed that that his image was on the very first poster that they did. I was looking through the posters today, and sadly he passed away just a short time ago.
Right.
So
yeah, he had some comorbidities and then got COVID, and it was so sad because he was a very, very talented guy. And I saw some people, some higher ups in the magic world, and they saw Alan and they go, he looks like a magician. I mean, he was handsome. He had the goatee. He just had the poise. He was, when you think magician, you would think, I'm the exact opposite,
That's what I tell everybody about the pirate character that I've become. I've grown to look this old and wise and seaworthy, and I make a right fine pirate. So it works, and of course having the magic and becoming the pirate magician of St. Augustine has always been a real cool thing. So it's worked out well for me. You've actually seen me perform as a pirate once. You were in town visiting several years ago.
That is correct. Yeah.
And with your lovely wife.
Yep.
And got to see a little touch of how I changed a few magic tricks to fit the pirate character. So and my favorite, I probably do it at every show, is I love the 3-rope, or as most magicians know it, the professor's nightmare. I love the 3-rope trick.
Oh, it's a classic.
It is. It's a classic. I love it. It's one of my favorite. So speaking of favorite magic tricks, give us an idea of maybe one of your most memorable performances. I know that you performed at the Magic Castle. You performed at the Magic Circle in London. So add some more to that and give us at least one, but if you have more than that, that's fine. Some of your more memorable locations, performances, or something that really sticks in your head that you like to brag about. Because that's what this is all about.
I think magic probably saved my life. I was doing a tour through Italy, and the train came in from Bologna to Milan. Milan, of course, is one of the largest train stations in all of Europe. It's the size of several football fields. It's gigantic. And this is back in the very early 2000s. So I didn't have a cell phone. Cell phones weren't that common then. I had my itinerary was all printed out on paper and everything, I remember. But I didn't know what my contact person looked like. I didn't know, is he going to be inside or is he going to be outside waiting for me in a car? Do I have to go out there? Or if he's going to be in here, I need to stay in here. In here was this gigantic room with thousands of people running around. And I thought, how in the world am I going to find this guy. It's a needle in the haystack kind of thing, right? So I pulled out a deck of cards and I started doing some card springing, some flipping some cards up in the air, boomerang card kind of stuff, and started drawing a crowd. Now, most of the crowd, they were Americans because I didn't know any Italian. I knew Spanish because I'd spent a year performing on the street in Venezuela, but I didn't know any Italian. And so I'm speaking in English right now because I'm panicking. So I'm getting these American tourists and I'm having them think of a card, and you pick a card and just don't say anybody, show it around over here. I tried to get it as big and as bold as I could. I was doing all sorts of, strange, wild cuts with the cards, just to try to get people's attention. This was, I think, one of them that I was done. It's affectionately known as Sybil. So it looks like that. Kind of crazy. Anyway, I was doing all this stuff and drawing this big crowd of people. And I had about 25, 30 at the most. They were almost all the way around me in this big semicircle. And this guy comes walking right through the crowd, comes up to me and shakes my hand and said, "Thank you. I had no idea how I was going to find you." That was my right. So I'd still be there today, living in that train station, doing card tricks, asking for handouts so I could buy a sandwich. I know for a fact if he hadn't found me, I'd still be there. So
that's a great story. And did you admit to him you had no idea what he looked like?
Exactly. I didn't know where to go. And I thought the best thing for me to do is stay put. And sooner or later, they're going to have to look for me. So I had no clue. Anyway, it worked out. It was serendipitous. So magic saved my life.
Well, that's true. And that's a good thing. Very good. And it proves one good point. Never go anywhere without a deck of cards.
Nope.
Never. I have a deck of cards. In fact, in my pirate gear, when I'm downtown, I have most of the time 3 decks of cards.
Yep. I had one in my pocket while I was at the Rays baseball game on Sunday. So, I mean, I had no intentions of pulling it out and performing or anything like that, but it's nice to have it right there. And then when I'm in the car, my wife drives, because first of all, she hates how I drive because I drive very, very conscientiously, very all within the rules. She likes to change lanes, speed up, get around this guy, blah, blah, blah. She just it drives her up the wall how I drive.
So you drive like you're already retired.
Right. And so okay. she drives like she needs to be somewhere yesterday. So, that's okay because she drives, and now I take a deck of cards and I get work done. So I start practicing stuff. And
you're using the deck of cards so you're not watching the road to see what she's doing, right?
Oh, I can sometimes, but it kind of freaks me out most of the time. So it's best not to. I just look down at my feet and mumble to myself and try to figure out: do I have a will? I don't know. Do I have a will? I don't know if I have a will.
So, name, because our question of the night was name 3 famous magicians, but I'm going to put the question to you in a different format. Name 3 of the most famous magicians you have ever met.
Well, I am so fortunate to have been backstage with David Copperfield and his crew at his show. Just being familiar with Homer Leewag and Chris Kenner, his number 3 and number 2 guy for his show, got me back there. And, I got to meet him. And, sometimes you kind of hate to meet your idols because they might just be jerks. And
yeah.
David was like super nice to me. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Let me tell you my David Copperfield story. I've never gotten to meet him. Never. But my mother met him in Panama City. He was doing his tour, and he did a show in Panama City. And after his shows, he would always go out and stand and sign autographs. So my mother has one of my Las Vegas publicity pictures from the 80s. This is how far back it was. And so she's standing there and shows him the picture, and she says, He didn't even look at it. He just signed his name on your picture.
Well, he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most autographs. So I'm thinking he gets that a lot.
I'm sure he probably does.
Yeah.
It disappointed my mom, but it didn't surprise me any. My mom passed away about 4 years ago, but it was always a running joke that I had with my mom.
Now the picture was it the one with the glass ball and the
yes, and the rabbit. Yes, the one where I look like Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, and it's like a yard sale on the table. All this magic stuff. Yeah. David Copperfield is at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas tonight. He doesn't go on for a few hours.
There you go. Ask the questions and we'll have the answers right here.
Yep.
So, all right, that's one. David Copperfield. Give me another one.
Well, I'd have to say one of my all-time comedy magic idols is Tom Mullica.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was a bar magician from Atlanta and became world famous. You can see him on YouTube for eating lit cigarettes. And he
had a place called the Tomfoolery.
Yep.
Yeah. He was wonderful. He was, and after meeting him, I got to meet him. And after meeting him, it really made an impact on my magic because as far as I was concerned, having seen some of these magicians, he was the master of misdirection. He really was, because of what he did for his magic. He was just a fantastic misdirector for his magic. So he was wonderful.
He was incredible. Yeah.
He's no longer with us in the world today either. So now, what's your third?
Golly, maybe Siegfried.
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy. Maybe David Blaine. Juan Tamariz, who is considered he's like the number one sleight of hand guy in Spain.
Yeah.
And probably most of Europe. I mean, he's the master over there. I am very fortunate that I have gotten to meet a lot of my heroes. And there's one that I'm very sad that I did not get to meet. And that's my very first night visiting the Magic Castle in Hollywood. I thought, Di Vernon, he's the resident magician at the Magic Castle. He's, 99, going to be 100 and something,
Yeah.
And I thought I'm just going to walk up to him, shake his hand, say, Mr. Vernon, pleasure to meet you, walk away. I don't want to perform for him. I don't want him to ask me to perform for him. I was just terrified. And we walk in and they start pinning these black pieces of ribbon, and it's just like, what's going on? And they go, oh, you didn't hear. Oh, well, the professor, which they called him, Di Vernon, the professor died last night. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. I wanted so badly just to meet the guy, but I was terrified. So part of me was going, yes, I didn't have to meet him. I didn't have to have him say, well, Sonny, show me something. I didn't have to go through any of that. But there's a part of me that goes, gosh, I could have just shaken his hand and that would have been that little bit of history. But it turns out he hadn't been at the castle for like 6 months anyway, because he was deathly ill.
He had been very sick.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have gotten there anyway. I wouldn't have been able to have met him, even if I'd been there a month.
So in the words of that great immortal philosopher, Maxwell Smart, missed it by that much. I had the same experience, a similar experience. I got to meet Jimmy Grippo.
Oh, very cool.
And I met Jimmy Grippo in the 80s when he was kind of considered the house magician of Caesar's Palace.
That's right. He was an incredibly interesting character.
He was.
Yeah, he was a hypnotist, and he also had prize fighters, and he would hypnotize them before their bouts. And one time, because I love Jimmy Grippo. I got his autograph on Caesar's Palace stationery, and he had a thing where that was back when Vegas was run by the mob,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And Grippo was absolutely incredible and was the sleight of hand guy in town.
And pretty respected by the mob too.
Yeah, and about 2 a.m, there's a knock on his door, and he gets up, and they're like, "Come on, you're performing for the boss and his friends. You got to be kidding!" So anyway, he throws on some clothes. He walks in there, and he starts just blowing them away. He was so amazing. He would take a card and take it and slide it into the deck, and then hand the deck out like this, and it was already out of the deck. It was gone. It's just, they had no clue how he was doing it, and they started accusing him of using cheating devices, like holdouts, things that shoot up the sleeve and this and that.
Right.
So they made him take he took his jacket off and he rolled his sleeves up. They ended up making him take his shirt off. So he's there and just his white wife beater kind of thing. He gets all the way down to his boxers and his socks. And he's performing for these mobsters, and they can't comprehend what they're seeing. But there's nowhere else for the cards and stuff to go. So he didn't have to go all the way down to blue material. But I mean, you can imagine, he was a portly man, and here he is in his underwear and his socks and his glasses, and he's got this fro, and he had Coke bottle thick glasses, so his eyes looked this big around when you looked at him through the glasses.
I got to meet him. I was with somebody else, and somebody else said, "Come on, we're going to go sit at this table and meet this guy." And it was Jimmy Grippo, and he had coins on the table, and he messed with the coins a little bit here and there, but mostly it was just to sit and listen to him talk. And that's one of the great things about some of the old guys in Magic who are no longer with us. So.
Yeah, I got a buddy who I'm going to be seeing a little later on tonight online. He's out in near Hollywood. It's Howard Hamburg. He was one of Vernon's students.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and so Howard, I mean, he's got so many you got to get him on because his stories are absolutely fantastic.
Well,
and
good.
His magic is still impeccable. He's in his 80s.
Hook us up. I'd love to have him on because. Yeah. Having somebody on that knows Di Vernon, knew Di Vernon, was intimate with Di Vernon as far as magic. What kind of stories? Those are some of the great stories. And that's the one thing I really truly am glad about my time frame in the magic world was I got to see some of these. I got to meet Doug Henning also.
Yeah, never did.
And so that was a good one. He was performing at Wolf Trap up in Maryland. I was still in the military then, but I got to meet Doug Henning. I got invited to go backstage and meet him. So, that's the really cool thing. Shamefully, I'm not up on many of the up and coming stars of the magic world now, other than what I catch once in a while on TV. Shin Lin is wonderful. He's got some great hands and does some really great work.
Navigator Longwood's got a picture of Shin, Lim, and I believe it's there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
There he is. And look at that. And so that brings up a question. What made you decide, because I've seen so many of these, so let me tell the audience what we have here. A lot of those pictures where you've met all these different people, you're in the same position. They're waving high with their hand in front of your face.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do that? I mean, it's a great gimmick. It's really cool.
Yeah, it started on my wedding day when we were getting pictures taken after the ceremony, and we're out on the beach because it's here it was in Treasure Island here, which is near St. Pete Beach where I live. And we were out on the beach, beautiful sunny day. Couldn't have been a nicer day. And my wife, Shelly, she's got this veil that she leans backwards and has the veil blowing in the breeze. And I'm standing there, and it took us about 10 or 15 shots. I'm sorry I didn't give it to you because you could actually use it. But it goes right over my face because I always felt that the wedding was always about the woman.
It always is.
The guy is a supporting character in a marriage.
That's
okay,
it.
I'm just saying that's the way it works.
You're just there.
Yeah,
They could dress up a mannequin and nobody would know the difference.
So I thought, okay, so that's pretty cool. A buddy of mine, David Acker, came out with a book called More Power to You. He's a magician in Canada. And he had a picture where he was waving high and obscuring the face of a famous magician. All right. And I thought, okay, that's kind of funny, but I wish the tables were turned. And I thought, I can do that. And so I started having people put their hand in my face. And I've got actors and politicians and singers. And there's David Blaine. Blaine. I've got over 600 pictures with people with their hands in my face, like Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. And
it's a great gimmick. It really is a great gimmick because all those people that know you know that's you in the picture, and you're the one showing the picture anyway. So, but it's a wonderful gimmick, and I bet it makes a lot of people not only laugh, it probably makes them ask you some strange questions.
Yeah, it does. I tell you what, because I go to, magic conferences and I like to have these famous, magicians, people who I admire, plus my close personal friends, even with their hand in my face. And the Japanese, God bless them, it's hard to get them to do it because they are so, no, I don't want to disrespect you. And it's like, no, It's okay. You can put your hand in no, I won't do that. All right. So now I go through my phone. Okay. Look at these, 100 pictures, and they see the hand in the face and they go, oh, it's a thing. Oh, got it. And then they're happy to do it.
Yes.
And then I go to the next Japanese person. Yeah. Can I get your picture when you put your hand in my face? No, I would never do that to you. Okay. Here we go again. And, their culture, they are so nice. If Americans were as nice and polite as Japanese, this would be a better world.
Oh, but absolutely.
It would be a harder world for me to get a picture taken in. I'm just saying.
I lived in Japan for 3 years.
Oh, you're lucky. I've never been. I've always wanted to be.
I lived in Japan for 3 years. It was the first 3 years of my actual military career, 1977 to 1980. I lived in Japan, and I actually lived in Japan with side trips to Hong Kong, Philippines, Korea, and I never came back to the United States for an entire 37 months.
Wow.
And when I came back to the United States after 37 months, I had American culture shock.
Yeah.
It really was. It was something. But the Japanese, I did magic at Japanese parties, at home parties. My Japanese is terrible. Their American was better. But they were so gracious. And I did actually attend one Japanese magic club. And everybody was doing magic, and it was just, it was probably one of the first times I ever saw the cups and balls done with rice bowls.
Yeah. And
I saw it in person. So I have some really great memories of living in Japan and doing magic for the Japanese and having a good time. So it was a lot of fun. I did have to change a few of my routines to not tell really silly Japanese or Chinese jokes. Because I wanted to be as polite as I could about them too. So you've been doing this hand in the face now for...
Oh gosh, we've probably been doing it now for 7 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I saw that when I was doing some more research over the last 2 days, and I thought, do you still have the chicken?
I do, Binky.
Binky,
the super intelligent migrating chicken.
Yeah. I remember your routines with that.
It's a chicken marionette.
Yes.
Which sounds like you would do it for children.
That might be Mr. Longwood may be holding one of your chicken's cousins right there.
Almost. Binky, if you go to my website, jeffwilliamsmagic.com, you're going to see a picture of me and Binky. And Binky, it looks like something from a child's, toy box kind of thing. But I use Binky as a closing effect when I work the Magic Castle, when I do the close-up gallery and work late close-up, which means my last show is at 12:30 in the morning for stupidly drunk people.
Yes.
I mean, very drunk people, and they love Binky. He's so much fun. He's got these giant glasses, and his pupils are huge. And when you take the glasses off of him, he's squinting. It's really there's so much fun stuff that happens with him.
Yeah, I have another marionette. Mr. Longwood has him right now. Is he close at hand? We have another marionette that we've begun using.
Oh, that's slick.
That is Mini-Me.
It does look just like him.
He does, doesn't he? We did.
That?
He was a marionette that we were selling in the Pirate Museum, and I brought him home. We sold a couple, so I brought one home, and Mrs. Mayhem added the extra hair and put the extra beard on it. And the only difference between him and me is I've got 2 eyes and he's got 1. So that's the only difference. So we use him right now for commercials, and we're writing some scripts and making some plans to use him as a teaching tool for the children and have him do most of the scene, reading books and stuff for the kids, and be a major part of what we do with Captain Squish podcast. But he's a lot of fun. I use him for a couple of card routines. He can find cards better than I can. So it's a lot of fun to use him too. And he's quite a hit with the children. So it's caused me to have to learn a little bit more work with marionette ideas, and so it's been a lot of fun. But Davey has him right now because Davey's been using him for some of the other videos over there that he's working on right now. So it's a lot of fun. You got a chicken with glasses that look kind of like you. I got a pirate that looks like me.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
So I know this is probably a hard question to answer. Do you know how many awards you actually have?
No.
Besides the Magic Castle, you've won FISM?
No, I have not won FISM.
You haven't won FISM.
No.
But the 4F is a select.
Right. So I've got my master's degree at 4F.
So tell us a couple of the great awards you have won, the recognition you have won.
Well, let's see, 3-time IBM, which is International Brotherhood of Magicians, Magician of the Year. I won Close-Up Magician of the Year, Stage Magician of the Year. I've won regional competitions in close-up and stage. Yeah. So, I mean, that's I've got a whole bunch of, everything from the medals to wands on holders to this thing, which is fun. That's the largest one. You don't want too many of these just because there's nowhere to put them.
That's true. We have some here on my shelf here that we have like 3 or 4 of them, and after a while you don't have any shelf space for them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm probably, somewhere between 24 and 20, I don't know, 7 or 8.
Now, when we first became friends, you were just getting into the magic world, so to speak.
Right. My background was in comedy.
That's right.
Yeah. And theater. So right out of high school, I toured Europe with an acting troupe, which was wonderfully fun. And getting into comedy and getting into, the whose line is it anyway type of extemporaneous impromptu things where you play off of each other. I totally enjoy that. In fact, I'm thinking about starting a podcast of my own with a buddy of mine from Canada, and we're going to call it Geniuses. It's spelled with a J. And we're going to be just talking on any subject whatsoever, and as if we're experts in it, or the other guy is, and we force them to tell us about it. And it's going to we do it while we go out to eat, and we start doing this kind of thing back and forth. I'm thinking, gosh, this is hilarious. This would make a very funny podcast because people know that I've never been a bullfighter, but I'm talking about bullfighter undergarments in an extremely detailed sense, kind of thing. So it gets to be just really kind of fun. And I think some people would tune in just to see how does this go off the rails this week, or is it going to actually be interesting? So
well, when you do that, when you start that podcast up, let me know. There he is. There's
Binky. Yeah.
When you start that podcast up, let me know. I'd like to, one, I'd love to watch it, but two, you might be able to convince me to interact. I might like to interact with you.
Yeah, we don't have a schedule. We don't have a format. We don't have anything other than it's probably going to be done over dinner. So we'll probably end up, gaining 400 pounds while I put this podcast thing together.
Because your chops for entertaining besides theater was comedy clubs.
Correct.
And, then you just started moving your magic into it. And I still tell my friends, especially when we were talking about you coming on, if you remember last week or the week before when we were testing everything with you, and I asked you about the lie detector. Remember the lie detector?
I do.
We both had one. Yeah. And you reversed it and made it a lie detector that was attached to you, that every time you told something, it went off and shocked the hell out of you. And it just you had everybody rolling in the aisles watching you shock yourself if you're trying to tell a magic trick. And of course, we all know that magicians are nothing but liars anyway. So it was just hilariously, it was a great routine.
Yeah, I was trying. The whole premise was, instead of putting it on the spectator and having it shock when they give the wrong answer or whatever, I thought, I'm going to wear this to show you that I'm not lying about my own natural paranormal abilities. And the thing just ends up, it's like, okay, my name is Geoff, and I live here in Florida, and I'm over 7 feet tall, and the thing just jolts me. I mean, just your neck snapping back. It's like turned up way too high. And that's when I go, oh God, okay. I read somewhere that this thing needs to be turned down just a little bit, and it shocks me again. Okay, because that was a lie. And so now it's sort of me versus the machine that's on my head. And it's a bike helmet with a giant thing that has like 4 D cells in it, and it has a piezo screaming speaker that when it goes off, you can hear it all the way to the back of whatever size room you're working. It's super loud. And I'm spitting teeth out at one point. And I remember my favorite line is during this thing where it's just gone crazy and I've almost doubled over, and I stand up and I look over at the person who's on stage with me and I go, who are you? Oh yeah, that's right. You're the one helping me and I'm watching my life pass before me. It's one of those, it was such a fun routine. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I'll have to get back into that.
I have mine. The device to make it work uses an odd shaped or an odd sized battery. And I found the battery, so I'm trying to get mine to work up again. Because I have every intention, since I switch everything over to this 1700s magician, have this to be an actual electronic device that nobody knows anything about electronics, but the grandson of Leonardo da Vinci has invented this device, and that's the storyline that I've decided to try to put to it to keep it within my genre. I haven't yet decided if I need it to shock me or I need to use it as the captain to find out where the treasure is coming from the audience members. So I'm still playing with that idea in my notes. So
if your captain's not the humorous type, or like mine was, now I can't get this thing off my head and it could kill me before I'm done with this routine. That's kind of how it was, where it was headed. If you can't pull that off, I'd go with it's going to help me get a little closer to the gold.
Yeah, and that's the direction I'm thinking of going with it. So it's a lot of fun. So speaking of magic tricks, do you have one prepared? Do you have something you want to try for us?
Ooh, I do.
Of course you do. You're a magician. You're ready to perform anytime, right?
I do. So we're going to have, I can't see the chat or anything like that.
Okay.
So if we could have somebody in the chat who's, I don't know, the first person who spells my name properly, we'll let them, if we can find somebody, it's Geoff, by the way, it's in the lower corner.
So, Mr. Longwood, see who's there. I can't see it from my side here, but what do we need to have to do this? Because I'm going to do it also. There it is. So Megan Holder is going to be playing the game with us.
Awesome. Megan, we have not met before, have we? We didn't set this up?
Is this trick going to be accessible? Aye. It's going to be right in front of your eyes there. So
should be. So Megan.
You know what, David, I heard you laugh and I wondered why you laughed. And now let me explain to Geoff why he laughed. That was one of our friends, Adam Lemons. He's part of our crew and he's one of our loyal watchers.
Uh-huh.
He's blind.
He's blind.
He's blind. And I said it's going to be right in front of his eyes.
Oh,
it's a good thing he's got a sense of humor and he's in Tampa, so he can't slap me. All right. So Megan just said correct. Go on with I'll stay out of it for a minute.
Okay, Megan, here I want you to name out loud any playing card. No jokers. You may not want to name something really popular. I mean, it's like an ace of spades is considered super popular, but you could name it if you want. But if you do, people go, yeah, I wouldn't have named the ace, or that kind of thing. So try to pick something, I don't know, maybe obscure, but it's up to you. You have a complete choice of any of the 52 cards. I want you to just go ahead and type one in, and then they'll have to let me know what you typed in.
Waiting. Do you want her to type in what the card is?
Yes.
Okay.
The name of the card. So
go ahead, Megan. Pop that name in there. Waiting.
We get paid by the hour, Megan. You take your time.
She says the 3 of clubs.
3 of clubs. Okay. There's no way I could have known that. And if you want to, you can change your mind, or you can stay with it.
Megan, would you like to change your mind? Waiting. And is she going to change her mind?
Don't know.
I can see, and she says,
oh, there's a delay.
There's just a slight delay. That's all right.
That's fine.
That's fine. No, stay with the 3 clubs.
Stay
So
with the 3
there's
clubs.
a woman. That's a strange one. There's a woman that's happy with the mind she has. She doesn't want to change it.
I have a Sharpie here.
Right.
It's been in plain view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Sharpie and I'm going to, I was going to write something, but my Sharpie fell apart. Oh, wait. Hold it. Three of hearts?
I think she said clubs.
She said clubs?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Very good. Wow. That was excellent. In fact, I'm afraid to touch the screen. That might get my fingers burned. That was such a hot trick.
That's fun.
Very good. I like that one.
Thanks.
And nobody send me messages and say, hey, how did he do it? Because at this point right now, I have some ideas, but I keep secrets, especially when I don't know for sure. There's no sense in opening my mouth and being proven to be a fool.
Well, I'll tell you how it works. They always say 3 of clubs.
Well.
So.
See, and here it was. I thought you had 52 Sharpies in your shirt.
No way. Name one. Now give me about 12 minutes.
That was the best trick he's ever seen, says Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
That was a good trick. You did well, Mr. Geoff Williams. Did well.
Thank you. That's fun.
So let's Jonathan Miller. Very good, Jonathan. Very good to see Jonathan here too. Very good. So let's I'm trying to decide if we want to do the video clip that Davey has, or Mr. Longwood, let's go ahead and do your video clip this week in history. Let's get that out of the way.
Get it out of the way so we can continue having fun. All right.
Yeah.
Did something within this week, so I could put it on there.
Yep, and almost every magician I know, in some way, shape, or form, owes something of their craft to the great Harry Houdini. I pulled the screen back over here towards me so I could see. We've got some really great comments, and I'm going to just go down through them. And let's go through them and see what we got here. But we've got some really great comments here that came from, I like this one. I think we might want to try this. Our good friend Jim Neuenfeld, he said, a mighty fine time we're going to have tonight, and the winds always bring us here on Monday evenings. That's really cool. And of course, Sketchy Guy, he's watching, and he's the one that did our cartoon characters, and he wants to know why the rum's always gone. Because Captain Mayhem has it in his hand every week. That's why the rum's always gone. All right. Let's see. We have Janice Collins. She's new watching our show. Kent Smith is back with us again watching. He said hello to everybody. So Sketchy Guy wants to know, does Penn and Teller count as 2 or 1 magician? I have a picture of myself with Penn Jillette in November of, what was the year that they blew this? In November 2006. They had a big giant party that weekend, kind of a fantasy party to celebrate the implosion of the Stardust. And I just happened to dress as a pirate to do magic at a table in one corner of the party. And Penn Jillette came, and we sang a couple of sea shanties together. My God, he's a tall man. He's a tall, tall man. I'm 6 foot, but he made me feel small. So here's a couple of ones here. The question was, who's your 3 favorite magicians? Copperfield, Houdini, and Captain Mayhem. And that was Jim. Ken Smith says Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, Captain Mayhem. That's 2 for me. And I'm in the same breath as Harry Houdini and David Copperfield. So I feel pretty honored. So let's see. Johnny Phoenix, Harry Anderson, and Harry Keller. Ooh, there's a name for you. Aye, that's a real good one. Did you ever meet Harry Anderson? I never got the privilege.
I did. I got to meet Harry, and he was very, very nice. He had some amazing stories. He was tall.
Yes.
He was like 6'2" or 6'3", something like that. He was a pretty good sized boy. And I got a picture of him with his hand in my face.
Ah, very cool, very cool. We have somebody watching us from Oregon. Hello, Laura, if you're still on the air watching us. Thanks for tuning in. Fabworks has said great. Fabworks actually put in a hello to us. And believe it or not, they like our new Captain's Quarter Studios. So thank you very much to Fabworks for watching and tuning in. We appreciate that very, very much. Thank you there, all of you. Let's see. We already asked the question about David Copperfield still performing. Adam Lemons wants to know if Hellfire is still wearing pants.
I never even saw that comment.
You could ask that about everybody. And do you know Joe Biden is a magician? He makes intelligence disappear. I'm not even going to argue that one. Let's see. I'm not even going to say that one there. Davey is playing with his chicken again. Yeah, he sure is. This show has suddenly gotten very adult. Davey's playing with his chicken because Adam Lemon says Donna is powdering the monkey. Next thing you know, they're going to have the Mexican chicken hat dance. Music is a theme. No, that'll never happen. Mark my words on my gravestone. That will never happen. We will never use it. Let's see.
It might happen.
That definitely sounded like mutiny, Mr. Longwood. Definitely sounded like mutiny. Let's see. What else do we have here? Zachary Harker is watching us from Michigan. So we have somebody from Michigan representing us. I don't see our friend from Quebec on. Oh, there I do. I do see him there. All right. Ahoy, mates. And that's Captain Smoo. He's from Quebec, Canada. And thank you, Megan Holder, for joining in our show tonight. I'm glad you got the invite and came in. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. We appreciate you being here with us. She's the one that helped do the magic trick. I'm sure she's quite astounded by all that now. Davey is in love with that puppet. I don't want to hear that. Really, I really don't. I don't want to hear that. So we got a lot of good comments. And Jonathan Miller says, let's not forget about the late, great Jonathan himself. Jonathan. We met Jonathan. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet him, but we met Jonathan. The wife and I actually helped sell Christmas trees at Christmas time in Las Vegas a couple of years in a row. And Jonathan shows up with his powder blue, I think it was a soft top Cougar. What's that?
56 Chevy.
It was a 56 powder blue Chevy. And he wanted the biggest Christmas tree we had, and he got it. And he had to put the top down, and he drove off with that big frickin' Christmas tree. And it's the funniest thing I ever saw. So we have a wide variety from all over the country watching us, Geoff. So you've helped us make this a really great show. We've gone over our minute, but sometimes we do, and we don't really care because 2, 1, it's my show, and 2, I'm the captain. So you know,
And I get time and a half according
That's
to the
right.
contract. So
and that's time and a half. And so multiply time and a half by 0, and I'll be out of pocket a lot. So it's going to be quite a bit. I'm betting that the challenge has been placed, and that when will it appear? All the Mexican chicken hat dance music say aye. All right.
you're going to get voted down now.
I'm going to get
go
voted
online
down.
just to
In
say
pirate
aye.
fashion, I'll get voted down. That's all right. I'll have Hellfire take care of him. He's looking a bit like Danny Kaye again tonight with his hair all coiffed up, but that's all
Gunner,
right.
vote aye.
So-
Gunner, vote aye.
Geoff, this could be the last time.
Yeah,
So-
it's probably going to be my one and only time of being on this program. So
Yeah. So,
it's been fun.
any other good stories you want to share? Anything at all? Anything that comes to mind, real quick?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I lectured throughout Europe, and one lecture I had a guy who was showed up in the back of the room that I had just seen the previous night perform at the Wintergarten in Berlin, and it was Gaetan Bloom. And for those of you who don't know who Gaetan Bloom is, if you had your crazy uncle do mushrooms and then you let him loose in a magic shop and took away all the instructions for all of the things and let him just make it up as he goes along, that's what Gaetan does. And he consistently fries everyone who sees him. He's amazing. And he shows up in the back of the room while I'm lecturing. So lecturing is where I'm teaching the people in the room how to do stuff. And then here's Gaetan, who, I'm not even, of the quality to be able to, go over and shine his boots. That's somebody above me gets to do that. So, I mean, this was one of the highlights of my entire life. And we went out afterwards for drinks and we became buddies. And it was, I will always remember that.
Very cool. It's those times when you meet other magicians where you get to have conversations. It's not a one-on-one magic trick kind of a thing. It's conversations that you share, stories, and from those stories come learning experiences.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the stories that make everything rich. It's the stories your life is your life, but the stories and other things that people share with you is all of the seasoning. It's the stuff that makes life really good. Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a story, and I kind of told you this before when we were doing the testing, but I'm going to share it because we have the audience here. I was always, as a young magician, I was always very scared to perform if I knew there were other magicians in the audience. Terribly nervous, couldn't do it, didn't want to do it. And the only relationships I had with any other magicians were those that I didn't have to perform for, but wanted to have conversations about theories and ideas and stagecraft. And those things were the ones that was what excited me. And it's one of the things that was the great thing about hanging out at Williams Magic Shop in Tucson, Arizona, because some of the greats, if they came into Tucson, there was a small back room there and everybody be sitting there. The great Bruce
Martin.
Martin. Thank you very much. The great Bruce Martin. Alan Rasco at his time, if he was there, if he showed up, it was always a wonderful conversation.
John Schrock could be there.
What's that?
John Schrock.
John Schrock.
Gene Collins. Yeah.
What about darn it, I can't think of his name. Slender, blonde. He actually did a couple of bits on the Young Writers TV show out at Old Tucson.
Gene Collins.
Gene Collins. And it was always great to sit around and I was kind of I was in the background. I wanted to listen and watch. And when I was a kid, when we traveled, I got to go to Diamond's Magic Shop in Florida when I was a kid. You get to see that. So the point I'm trying to make in all of this is that young magicians, if they pay attention and get a chance to meet magicians that have been into the business for a while, the tricks aren't important. The tricks are the tools. It's the experience and the lessons you learn from the greats' failures or misconceptions or missteps in shows that they overcome and figure out. So here, let's go all the way now to about 2010. And I've met several young magicians in this area from Daytona to Jacksonville. And I'm leaving the museum late one night on a Saturday night, not really late, but I don't know, 6 or 7. I'm walking down the street to go to my car. And I see about 4 or 5 of these magicians walking up the street towards me. And I stop and talk to them for a few minutes. I say, hey, what are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? Where are you going? Oh, well, we came to find you. And I went, why? Well, we thought we'd all go sit and have a beer and talk magic. And I was flattered that while we're sitting there talking magic and having a beer and a couple of card tricks come out, I realized something. I'm one of the old guys now. I get to share my experiences with experiences that I've had with other magicians, and some of those magicians, like the one that we're in the presence of, has gone on to become, and I'm not trying to truly flatter you totally, but you've gone on to become one of the great magicians of our time because of your knowledge and your experience. And I'm always flattered to brag about calling you a friend.
Oh,
it's because I knew you when you didn't do magic. And you remember a couple of times that we went to the the flea market together?
Flea markets, yeah. We were buying crazy stuff.
Buying stupid stuff and then giving it to each other and saying, what can you do with this? What can you do with that? And challenging each other to do things.
In fact, for the longest time, I still remember I bought an old phone.
Yes.
I would still have, my phone would ring and I would reach into my pocket and pull out this handset with the cord that went inside saying, I'm sorry, I'm on a show right now. Can I call you back? And then it would go back in there rather than it be a flip phone or anything.
Right.
Other than that.
And I still have, because I got one too that day, and I still have it in my box of stuff. I still have it. I've never gotten rid of it because it's a memory. I can't use it as a pirate. It would be funny, I guess.
It'd be hilarious.
Pirate, but it's those times, those stories, those experiences, and it's one of the reasons why we're having not just magicians come on our show, and we're not just talking about history here. We're talking about the history. We've talked about the history of you and the history of what you've done. We're doing the same thing with musicians and with other entertainers and with reenactors. So that's why this show has always been so much fun and going to continue to be so much fun, because we get to have some really great guests. And speaking of really great guests, go ahead.
And really great guests and me.
And you, okay, and you. And speaking of guests, I'm going to throw some things out of order here, Mr. Longwood, just because it's a perfect segue for you to put up our list of. This is all the guests we have coming in up until November 14th. We have Tom Mason from Nashville, Tennessee coming in. We have Michael Krosnicki, a magician up in Jacksonville. We have the River Pirate, Jason Gillette, and we'll be talking about rum. There's a reason why the rum's always going. We have Max Michaels. He's the owner of Ancient City Con. He'll be sitting in with us and talking about Ancient City Con. We have Sketchy Guy coming in, one that's drawn the great cartoons of us, making us look so great. We have Zachary Harper. He'll be coming in. He's with the Silver Moon Pirate Crew of Michigan. I have to move myself closer to the screen so I can see what I've got written there. We are doing a special show on September 13th, which is a Tuesday night. And the reason we're doing that show on Tuesday night is because it's National Anti-Superstition Day. But we've always wanted to do a show about the superstitions of the nautical world and pirates in the Navy. So we're going to talk about superstitions on Anti-Superstition Day. It'll be a very special show on that Tuesday night. Ladies and gentlemen, our first anniversary is September 19th, and Scarlett Deerheart, her birthday is on September 19th, and she's been a long-standing supporter of the crew. We're going to bring her along. We've got a whole list of others there. Mayhem from Panama City will be on with us. Mandy Jo Brown from the Utah Pirates will be with us. Return from the Pirates of the High Seas on October 10th. We'll be there 7th, 8th, 9th, and we'll talk about that. Andy Nance, a great author, a great actor, and boy, what a voice does he have. And he'll be on with us. And Mo from Las Vegas, a pirate crew out there. And a special on-location surprise. I don't even think I know what that is. I just wrote it in there just because it sounded good. We're going to bring in the tasting tour people from St. Augustine and talk about their tours with the Grinch around Christmas time, and Santa and Scrooge. You can go on tours of the city with all three of those. And our good friend Marc Rocher from Quebec, Canada. And we're going to bring him on, and he is going to be reciprocating by adding us to some things he's doing through the holidays. So we've got a great list, a great lineup here, and it's always going to be fun. And we hope that everybody will tune in with us. I know that we've gone over again. We went over last week. We had the author Carol Busby. She had a great book about Anne Bonny. We went over. Oh, well, it's fun. We can't do this, though, without our show sponsors. We have to have a few sponsors helping us out. It takes care of some of the fees because doing these shows is not free. Well, that's not true. Mr. Longwood and Mr. Hellfire, they're free. I only have to throw them a few peanuts and a bottle of rum. But the rest of us, well, we don't get paid either. But the Ancient City Sirens is part of our sponsorship. Dick's Wings Grill here in St. Augustine. Paper and Strings. That's our good friend Adam Lemon and Christy Thomas. Pardon me. And I know that they'll be here at the house on August 20th for a big shindig, housewarming in our new home, and Christy's birthday, along with Miss Cece's birthday, and a few other birthdays we'll be celebrating. The Colonial Oak Music Park, the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, and Shiver Me Timbers at the Scarlet Deerheart. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are our sponsors. We should thank our crew that helps us out here. Our crew is very important. The Powder Monkey, W. Mayhem Productions, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, and, of course, there's those good-looking cartoon characters, Mayhem, Hellfire, and Davy Longwood. Those are our cast and crew. And we do a lot of charity work. Ladies and gentlemen, we do a lot of work for Inc., Investing in Kids, St. Augustine Youth Services, the Humane Society. And that reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to start tonight advertising and asking people to help us donate, help us raise food for the Humane Society, both cats and dogs. And today is the 1st of August. We're going to run it for 31 days. So if anybody wants to help us out, send us a message. Let us know how you'd like to help out. Either bring us some food. You can drop it all off at Captain Mayhem's abode in our grand pirate room, or you can send us a message and we'll let you know how you can PayPal money, and we'll take the money out and go buy the food. We hope to do as good as we did last time. In April, in just 10 days, we raised 1,000 pounds of food for the Humane Society. So our goal is to be a time and a half that. Let's see if we can hit 1,500. I shouldn't say that, it'll jinx us, but oh well. 1,500 sounds like a good number. And of course, our toy drive every Christmas, Toys for Pits. Not Toys for Tots, ladies and gentlemen. Toys for Pits. PITS stands for Pirates in Training. And so, if you want to support us, ladies and gentlemen, we have an account with Patreon. I know I got ahead of myself there, didn't I, Mr. Longwood? Sorry about that. We have an account with Patreon, and you can go on and make a monthly stipend donation off of your credit card. and we have the captain's membership and the Powder Monkeys membership. And you can go there and have money donated to us for our cause. And it's only $5 a month if you want to be a first mate. It's $1 a month if you want to be a Powder Monkey. It's a very small amount. And as you can see, we have 6 people that are first mates. And of course, subscribers, we have 223, 6 sponsors. And without all of them, we could not do any of this. Well, we could, but it would cost us. Oh, well, it's too much fun not to do it. So we're having a good time. We have great guests. And, well, we've done New on the Horizon. We've done a last minute of the checks. Mr. Williams, I'd like to give you a few more minutes and tell you, what else do you want to share with us?
Does everybody have like 4 cards? Can everybody get 4 cards? Now, for some reason, is this being recorded? Is this going to go online?
It is being recorded.
Okay, so if you don't have 4 cards, then you can get 4 cards later and then go back and replay it. But if you've got 4 playing cards, just grab 4 playing cards. They just all need to be different. We're not playing a game, so it doesn't have to be like all aces or anything like that. If you don't have playing cards, you can use 3x5 cards, or you can use business cards. But if they all look alike, just take a pen and mark an X on one of them, and we'll call that the face of that one. So you're going to get 4 playing cards. And Captain Mayhem, do you have your 4 cards handy?
I have my 4 cards right here.
All right. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to look at your cards. You're going to hold them facing you, and you're going to pick one of them out. It's going to be one that you can remember. Now, it might be different than the other ones. It might be the only one of that particular color, or maybe it's the only court card, or maybe it's your favorite card, or that type of thing. So I'm going to choose the 2 here because it's the only red card in this particular group. So I'm going to go with the 2 of hearts.
Okay,
So
I'll take mine.
So I'll take that. So I'll take my favorite card and I'll put it on the face of my face-up packet.
Got it.
So it's going to be on the top. All right. Everybody got their cards?
Got it. Go ahead.
I know where your card is. It's on top. It's staring at you. Okay, that's not it. It's not it.
Hey, even Adam Lemons could do that trick.
Take your packet and turn it face down. I still know where your card is. Now it's on the bottom. Again, that's not it either. Take the top card off and just put it on the bottom. This is a little different. Take the top card off, turn it over, and put it on the bottom. Try not to look at your hands while you do this. I want you to take the top card off as is, put it on the bottom. Top card as is, put it on the bottom. Top to bottom, top to bottom. Just keep that going. Try not to look at your hands. Now we've all done it a bunch of different times. Now nobody knows where anybody's card is. Just keep it going, top to bottom, top to bottom. You can stop anytime you'd like. Try not to look at your hands. I'm going to stop about now, but you can go a couple more, maybe 3 more if you want to.
Okay.
Everybody should be stopped at this point. Got it?
Got it.
Take the top card, put it on the bottom. Take the top card, flip it over, and put it on the bottom. Now take the top card, put it on the bottom, and take the top card and flip it over and put it back on top. Sandwich your card between your hands. Sandwich right between your hands, just like that. Nobody knows where anybody's cards are. We've had them go topsy-turvy, upside down, all the way around. We've been moving them around. I'm going to snap my fingers. And now, your card, whatever it is the only one facing in that direction. For me, it's the 2. What did you get?
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Awesome. Very good. What a great way to finish out the show. A little bit more mystery. And audience applause. Look at that. Very good. Well, Geoff, it's been great having you here. I really would like to get you and your wife to come over and visit again. It's been what, 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, it's been about 5 years, and so yeah, we miss getting over there. And I actually have a place over there I can perform, so I'm looking forward to getting back over there when I can.
Well, we need to get you over here and come over and take a tour of the museum and enjoy yourself and just have a good time, especially with your wife, because she's lovely. I've met her. She's wonderful. I don't know what you did to snare her, but you did real well.
You know, I'm partial to her as well.
Yeah, I bet you are. But it's been great to have you here. It's been great to have you on the show. And
It's a huge pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you people for, checking in and watching. You're not going to get this time back. This is time out of your lives that you're never, ever going to get back. But I hope it was rewarding and fun, and I hope it made your life just a little more interesting too.
absolutely, I think so. So we'll be signing off as we normally do, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Geoff, you don't have to run away right away. So just keep an eye on what's going on here for just a second. And Mr. Longwood, kick her off.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always to our crew. Cheers, huzzah. A good rum is always there. Thank you for tuning in this week. It's been a great show. Cheers to all.